Why does Fortnite look so good now? So Fortnite Chapter 4 is released, and it includes a fresh map. However, there's more to the new season than just that. Fortnite has also undergone a massive upgrade to the new Unreal Engine 5.1, which has resulted in the best looking version of the game yet. So let's take a look under the hood at 5.1 and check out some of the cool features that Fortnite's using to get these stellar visuals. In the previous versions of Fortnite, LODs were used extensively to optimize their assets. This is an efficient method for keeping your game optimized, but in practice, LODs changing from one version to the other can look really jarring and is called LOD popping. You've probably seen it in almost every game you've played. This is where Nanite comes in. Unreal Engine's Nanite has replaced traditional LODs by using a new technology that allows for rendering millions or billions of triangles in real time without requiring LODs. It works by breaking down the geometry into tiny micro polygons that can be processed efficiently, resulting in high detail scenes even at a distance. So in simpler terms, everything in Fortnite has an insane amount of detail, and it all runs smoothly at 60 FPS with zero LOD popping. Pretty crazy. Now, before 5.1, the thousands of buildings in the map all use 2D textures on top of a flat 3D mesh. But now, every asset in the game is displaced into actual 3D geometry, giving the surfaces a crazy amount of detail and depth. But it's not just the buildings that are benefiting from Nanite. If you watched my last video, we talked about how current gen trees in video games are limited to using alpha cards to fake their leaves, resulting in some pretty poor looking trees and foliage. Well, the thousands of trees in Fortnite's map are also all benefiting from Nanite, resulting in trees that have incredibly dense and lush foliage. Now, speaking of lush foliage, if you're interested in learning how to become an environment artist and create beautiful fluffy trees, but you don't know where to start, feel free to check out my Environment Artist Survival Kit, where we teach you how to make beautiful trees, beautiful flowing grass, and massive landscapes, all from scratch. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check out the course. Now let's talk about the shady stuff that they're doing. Before Chapter 4, Fortnite used shadow mapping to create its shadows. However, traditional shadow mapping methods can be computationally expensive, resulting in very blocky shadows. You've probably noticed this in a lot of video games too. With the addition of Unreal Engine 5.1, Fortnite has dramatically increased the resolution of its shadows with something called virtual shadow maps. Ooh. Unreal Engine's virtual shadow maps offer more precise and higher clarity shadows than traditional shadow maps, thanks to their higher resolution and the use of a sampling algorithm called shadow map ray tracing. It sounds complicated, but all this algorithm is doing is making sure that shadows further away from the light source have softer shadows, while objects that are closer to the surface have sharper shadows. This means that combined with Nanite's displaced geometry, virtual shadow maps can add proper self-shadowing and silhouettes to these incredibly high detail assets. For example, take a look at how the bricks in this building cast shadows created by their own geometry. This is something that you don't really see in video games. I think the beauty of this algorithm really shines when looking at the shadows made by the new Nanite trees, where each leaf shadow is beautifully projected onto the ground with an immaculate level of detail. Now, this is all interesting, but I want to shed light on something else as well. Before Chapter 4 in Fortnite, the game used basic lighting techniques that made indoor areas look a little dull and unrealistic. The game created ambient lighting using something called distant field ambient occlusion, which ended up making some indoor areas look a little too blue due to how the skylight interacts with the environment. But in Chapter 4, the developers introduced a new technology called Lumen. This technology is a drastic upgrade from standard lighting techniques because it calculates how light bounces around a scene in real time, making it more realistic. This means that indoor areas in the game look warmer and more natural because Lumen adds back the sunlight bounce and detailed indirect shadows, filling these rooms with beautiful, bright, warm ambient lighting. Lumen doesn't just improve the lighting as well. It also has a drastic effect on the reflections in the game. Lumen's reflections work by tracing the path of light as it bounces off of surfaces in the game world. This means that when light hits an object in a game, like a wall or a car, it reflects off of it and then hits another object, creating a reaction of reflections. So that's why Fortnite looks so good. With Unreal Engine 5.1 and groundbreaking technologies like Nanite, virtual shadow maps, and Lumen, Fortnite has received a huge upgrade that has transformed the game's visuals and performance. So yeah, Fortnite is pretty cool.